What if General Grievous was able to survive his duel with Obi-Wan? What if he was able to escape the grasp of the rising Empire and was forced to retreat? What would the Star Wars universe look like as a whole if Grievous survived Revenge of the Sith? Welcome to Star Wars Explained, where we change one small part of the Star Wars universe and see how it could impact the universe as a result of a single alternate route in the continuity. For this installment, we'll be discussing what the story of General Grievous could be like if he was able to escape his death in Revenge of the Sith. To set up this scenario, let's say it takes place after Grievous's brief duel with Obi-Wan on Utapau, but in the resulting chase in the aftermath of the duel, Grievous is able to escape his pursuer and flee the planet. During this time in Revenge of the Sith is also where Palpatine was confronted by Mace Windu and other Jedi Masters, ousting him as a Sith Lord and mastermind of the war. The duel between the Sith Lord and the Jedi Masters would proceed as did in regular continuity, and after the betrayal of Anakin Skywalker, even though Grievous was still alive, Palpatine would still proceed with Order 66. After Order 66, Grievous, now off Utapau, would follow his master's original orders and journey to Mustafar to regroup with the remaining Separatists. After the sacking of the Jedi Temple and execution of a large portion of the Jedi, Palpatine would order Vader to Mustafar to eliminate the Separatists, only this time Grievous would be present as well, which would potentially cause a problem for the newly anointed Sith Lord. Vader would arrive on Mustafar, and nearly immediately, Grievous would surmise he was Anakin Skywalker, and with the remaining battle droids left in the room, Grievous would engage the Sith, swinging wildly and attempting to cut him down. During the resulting battle, Grievous would see the now yellow eyes of Lord Vader, and even he could feel the cold inside of him and the presence of the Emperor's new apprentice. The two would duel on Mustafar, smashing at each other as some Separatists managed to flee. The fight would go on for some time, and Vader would take several of the general's hands and possibly injure him a great deal. Eventually, the general would use his escape tactics, again fleeing to his ship on the mining facility, but Vader would be close behind, and just before he was about to reach out with the Force and seize the general, he would spot a silver ship approaching from the distance. The ship would be Padme's, and Vader would abandon the pursuit to go meet up with his pregnant wife, who he knew would be arriving soon, and the broken general would crawl into his ship, betrayed, with few places to go. Vader would begin to leave his wife, explaining the situation and that he needed to fight the droid general, but out of the ramp of the ship would step Obi-Wan, and all thoughts of Grievous would leave him. Grievous would flee back to his lair where he would get repairs, also taking this time to search for any tracking devices that may be placed on him and reprogram the parts of his cybernetics that may still be controlled by Sidious. He would also come up with his next course of action. Knowing Grievous would be at the top of the new Empire's hit list, he would flee to a planet with either little intelligent life or a planet whose life forms he could easily conquer. For a time, Grievous would be safe, but the clones would be searching for him along with the rest of the Empire. Grievous would attempt to remain as hidden as possible, but eventually an Imperial ship would descend down to the planet he would be hiding on. The elimination of Grievous would have become the primary mission for the Empire, as he would contain incriminating evidence concerning Palpatine, and the very existence of him would jeopardize the Empire as a whole. Out of the Imperial ship would now step a post-suit Vader, hate-filled and ready to end the general's life. Grievous would attempt to escape, but Vader would block his attempts, and the general would be forced to engage in a duel. The duel would be fast-paced, with Vader fighting a little more reserved. Eventually, however, Grievous would gain a slight advantage over the Sith, due to the Sith Lord's current unfamiliarity with his new cybernetics. Knocking Vader back, Grievous would flee and escape yet again, leaving the planet. Suddenly, Grievous's ship would be seized by an Imperial ship, and the general would be forced to take the few moments to prepare for yet another fight. The ship would be pulled into a hangar, and the droid general would slightly peek his head over the cockpit, expecting clones to be surrounding him. But there would be no clones, no droids. In fact, there would be no one, save a sole dark-hooded figure in the middle of the hangar. Suddenly, the very ship Grievous was in would begin to shake and be torn apart piece by piece. Grievous would leap from it just in time as it collapsed in on itself. Grievous would quickly activate his sabers and charge at the hooded figure, but he would be stopped right in his tracks with the raise of the figure's hand. The figure would hold Grievous, motionless in the air, until taking a moment to remove his hood, revealing the Emperor. The Emperor would take a moment to inform Grievous how troublesome he had become, and tell him he was lucky his apprentice had endured such a recent hardship and was currently unfamiliar with his new cybernetics, but that he would improve with time, and Grievous would have been swiftly destroyed by Vader, as the remaining Jedi would be as well. The Emperor would then tell Grievous, still suspended in midair, that he had been a valuable piece in the establishment of the Empire, but that now he was too dangerous and could potentially hinder its growth and progress, and that he needed to be eliminated. A slimy grin would grow on the Emperor's face, and he would thank Grievous for his service, then releasing a huge torrent of Force lightning into the General's remaining organs and cybernetics. Grievous would let out an ear-piercing shriek, and the Emperor would laugh, reveling in his past servant's pain. He would then increase the intensity of his lightning, and the General's limbs would begin to disintegrate from his very body. The Emperor would release one last torrent, and the General would be no more, leaving a pile of ash on the hangar floor. Through the blast doors would enter Vader, and the Emperor's grin would fade, revealing a face of anger and disappointment. The Emperor would then point to the pile of ash, previously Grievous, and tell Vader he must improve or he would end up like the General, nothing but dust, telling him that he now ruled the galaxy and that his direct involvement should not be necessary. So there you have it, everyone. That's how I think it would all go down. I realize that a lot of people would like to see General Grievous' story continue even further than that, but I think that since he was really going to be the main focus of the Empire for some time, due to some of the information that he had, and because Palpatine really wanted to eliminate a lot of the Separatists, I think that he would have been eliminated by Vader and Palpatine really recently and early on after the Empire actually rose. I also added the little bit with Vader being unfamiliar with this suit because I found it very interesting, and in a lot of the books it does explain that it took some time for Vader to become more accustomed with this suit, and he didn't just hop into it and start slaying Jedi. It actually took him time to learn how to train with it and really learn how to use it to his advantage in a lot of fights. So go ahead and tell me what you guys think. How do you think the Star Wars universe would look if Grievous was actually able to escape his death in Revenge of the Sith? Do you think his story would have played out a little longer than mine did, or do you think that it was just on the money and that the Empire would have been able to hunt him down? Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter for updates on the channel. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to help contribute to the channel and gain access to some special features. Click the annotations on screen to watch my previous video or a mystery video. Links for all are in the description down below. May the Force be with you and have a great day.